the truth, we're able to practice tolerance. We need instead to be people that are willing to stay and fight and even argue appropriately. Now, when I use that word argue, I want to make sure you understand, I don't mean we're throwing things. Right? So when I say argue, I don't mean like, hey, I grabbed the vase and threw it across the room. Or I don't mean shouting. What I mean is reason out what's right. To love one another, to give extra grace, to care for each other, to forgive each other, to grow, to refine the rough edges off of each other. In fact, this is what conflict was intended to do. When you think about how God designed us, the reason that there is conflict is because we all have jaded edges, right? And it's like we're rubbing together and we're breaking those off until we fit together and work together according to God's plan. And we can't do that if there's not conflict. In fact, conflict is an inevitable part of any church. Listen, if you're going to be here for more than a day, there's going to become conflict. Amen? Let me tell you the most heartbreaking part of being a pastor, and you already know this because it's the most heartbreaking part of being in the church, is that instead of staying and working through the conflict, people do what? Oh my gosh, you knew the answer immediately. We leave. What do? We act just like the culture, and when conflict happens, we just abandon, we cancel, we quit, we ghost it, right? Because why? Because we don't practice biblical conflict. And so every year, I think this is one of the most important sermons we do, because why? If you leave, it prevents both of us, both parties, from refining off our rough edges. Nobody gets to grow. Nobody gets to practice grace. Nobody gets to enlarge the relationship ability. No one gets to say, I forgive you. Will you forgive me? So nobody gets to experience what Christ intended for the church to be when we just go, oh, it got hard, I'm leaving. Jesus says, step one in handling conflict is to grab a bunch of people on social media, get a bunch of people, a crowd of people, her friends, his friends, your friends, and then go to them in a mob and beat them up. No. But that's how culture handles it, right? Listen, this is probably the second most dangerous thing on social media. Besides the ability to just bully and attack someone, and have no face and no interaction. The second piece is part of the bullying and attacking someone, which is we're going to do it all on social media, and I'm going to get a gang of people that come and insult and harm you. Rather than sit down with you and say, why did you do that? Did you know that, listen, I'm going to teach you a phrase if you don't already know this. That hurt my feelings. So step one in handling conflict, Jesus says, is go to the person one-on-one and have a discussion. Go to the person one-on-one and have a discussion.